And so I really, now I'm like all like, okay, evil queen, love her. Hey everybody, welcome back to my world. No matter how old you get, you never need to grow up. And you know, we've all been like fangirling, fanboying, personing about the return of Monster High. I refuse to call it a reboot because there was a reboot and that was horrifying, not in a good way. And so this is just a return of Monster High. And we're all really psyched and excited about that, right? But so I'm hoping that if we get Monster High back and it becomes the success that I suspect it will become, because it will be driven not only by people buying the dolls for their kids, but by people who now have disposable income and are very nostalgic for Monster High, buying lots and lots of dolls, you know, like myself. And so I'm hoping that the return, the dolls are going to be worthy of that kind of devotion, and that we're going to get a good maybe 4 or 5 years of really awesome doll releases, and then somehow they'll screw it up again. But that's just the way things go in the doll world. We all know that. Okay, so but if that happens, I have to believe that already in the works, because, you know, this started like over a year ago at Mattel. You know, it's like 18 months before the announcement that they realized, oh, we're going to start bringing this back. Okay. I have to believe that at Mattel right now, they are gauging and talking about Ever After High. They're looking at the response to everybody like, oh, Monster High's making a comeback. I think a year after, so I think like 2023, or we're in 2021 already. It's already March of 2021. Does anyone feel like 2020 is the lost year? Like, it feels like it didn't happen, and in other ways, it feels like the longest year ever. But so I'm like, 2023, that's like so long from now. Well, not really, because we're already in 2021. Next year, in 2022, we're going to get Monster High dolls, right? So that whole year is just going to be like, ah! And then I think, here's what I think. I think that at Toy Fair 2023, they're going to announce the return of Ever After High. That's what I think, because if we had been able to have a Toy Fair this year in 2021, the relaunch of Monster High would have been announced at Toy Fair, because you'll notice the timing, and we probably would have even had some prototypes on display. Maybe not for us like to share, but they might have taken us in the back room and been like, look. But I think that's like, so this is my dream, because Ever After High, much like Monster High, and of course it's Garrett Sander and his team and those people who were working at Mattel at that time, and Mattel's bravery, which I still believe. We have a lot of quality issues with Mattel, but I think that I also did a whole video about where I apologize to Mattel and Barbie, because I think Mattel has shown some real bravery in things that they have chosen to do. Now, they have not shown bravery. They've not shown quality, but they've shown bravery. But so Ever After High was this great story about how you don't have to follow the story that's written for you by society, by your parents, by your heritage. And I just think that was, you know, like a really great liberating message. I think it was a great message, you know, 10 years ago. Not that it's easy today, but 10 years ago, it was really hard for gay and transgender and non-binary kids to even think about, like, well, you know, maybe I don't have to be the way everybody says I have to be, you know? And I think that it's so funny because, like, people try to argue that because they're like, the more gay and trans and non-binary people in movies and TVs and books and dolls and all those things is going to make our kids gay and trans and non-binary. And it's like, no, you idiot. It's just going to save them a lot of pain. Because they already are. And so many people spend their entire lives in confusion and denial because they didn't see themselves represented anywhere. And so they were feeling feelings that they didn't understand, and nobody was talking about it. And it caused them so much pain. We have lost so many young people over the decades because they didn't understand the feelings, and they knew that if they tried to talk about the feelings, something bad was going to happen to them. And so where I'm going with that is that I think that like Monster High and Ever After High had this opportunity 10 years ago, and now we're hoping, we're all hoping with Monster High that they're really going to push the envelope on the inclusivity piece. Diversity and inclusivity. They said that in their press release. And then think of what you can do with Ever After High now. I mean, we're talking about the show that gave us, as far as I'm concerned, that was the first same-sex kiss in an animated kids movie. Okay? There were others that came after it that were unambiguous. But Darling Charming, waking Apple White up, spoiler alert, Dragon Games, with True Love's kiss. Come on. And everybody was like, oh no, she was giving her mouth to mouth. I was like, oh heck no, that was a smooch. I mean, Kate and I were just like, ah! We were so happy. So think about now, here we are, we're in 2021. If we get to 2023, right? If the Equality Act gets passed and we just we stop the nonsense in this country, if we override all of the states that are trying to just torture and punish our transgender youth, and if we can do that, right? And 2023 comes along, and now we have maybe Ever After High, and the stories that they're living, and they're just they're coming out left and right, and just think about that. Just think about what Ever After High could be in a world that is even more inclusive and accepting than the world was in 2012, 2013. Think about that. I am so excited about that. So what the heck is that? Why are we talking about this? Because as you can see from the title, I intended to do this video. I actually thought I did this video a good 6-9 months ago, because I took the dolls down off the shelves and they've been in the studio, and then I realized I never did this video. I did the Monster High San Diego Comic-Con exclusive doll video, and I never did the Ever After High Comic-Con exclusive video. Now I want to explain something that's very annoying to me, and will explain the condition of these boxes. For some reason, the Ever After High packaging, while very innovative, is extremely large, and it makes it very hard to display in a way that means that it's not going to get all dusty and banged up and nasty looking. So that's just me saying that. So the first one, I believe this was the first, and she's one of the coolest characters. I actually have tape on this. It's embarrassing. Okay. Because, it was a really cool idea. So Cerise Wolf, all right? Cerise Wolf, daughter of the big bad wolf. And if you remember Cerise's story, she was trying to hide who she was. Do you remember that? She's always wearing the hood. And if you have not watched Ever After High, please go watch Ever After High. Watch the movies, watch the webisodes. Just such a good story, and the best theme song. So are you a royal or a rebel? Right? So we had to choose sides right away. So her box is made to look like a book, right? So it's a fairy tale book. And look at this artwork. I actually think the artwork is cooler than the doll in this case. That's often the case. But it is a very cool doll. And we did not go to San Diego Comic-Con. I have never been. I have no desire to go because I don't like crowds. And I look at videos and pictures from San Diego Comic-Con, and I have anxiety. Okay, so it says, according to fairy tale legend, Red Riding Hood is a carefree girl full of innocence and wonder. Yet there was something different about her daughter, Cerise. Ever the mysterious lone wolf, Cerise Hood has spent her whole life hiding a family secret. Her father is the big bad wolf. Oh, Little Red Riding Hood, you bad girl. During one of her many journeys through the dark forest, Cerise wondered, what if I didn't have to follow in my mother's footsteps? What if I could let the world know I'm part bad wolf? What if? The more you get to know Cerise, the more you understand why we should be free to discover our own destinies, said Raven Queen, daughter of the evil queen. Apple White says, mirror, mirror on the wall, I always knew Cerise was the biggest, baddest one of all. And Madeline Hatter says, how is a red cloak like sheep's clothing? I bet Cerise knows the answer to this riddle. So, she was, sorry, I made like a little fart. So she was like hiding who she really was. Like, you don't have to be Freud to figure out all of the subtext of Ever After High. And that's why I'm so excited for it to come back, because now we can just, it won't even be subtext. It'll be like right out there. And I think that'd be really cool. So the problem is, so this is the packaging. Okay. The packaging is really cool and it opens up like a book, but then this piece, like, what am I supposed to do with this piece if I'm going to display this, right? So what happened is, and then there's this whole story in here, which I'm not going to read to you. You can find it online. But there's a whole story about, this is when she figures out that she's let me see. From the edge of the dark forest, I heard friendly chatter, blah, blah, blah. Everyone gathered around me to congratulate me. Briar commented, it's really ferocious. Okay. My parents looked at me with despair in their eyes and they began glowing. I realized what was happening. Mom, Dad, the legends were true. When fairy tales break from destiny, they vanish along with their story. I turned to Headmaster Grimm. Don't do this. This was my choice, but it was too late. Okay. So the story is actually pretty sad of what happens here. The story is that she and think about this. She comes out and she goes against her story. She decides, I'm not going to be like my mother. I'm not going to be Little Red Riding Hood. I'm going to be myself. I am going to be Cerise Wolf. I am a wolf. And I'm going to embrace my big bad wolf heritage. And because she does that, supposedly, and the legend turns out to be true, your parents disappear. Your story vanishes if you decide to go against your story. So that's what this story is all about. It is really heartbreaking. And it's just like, and then as the story goes on, we find out that it was just a dream. So it's kind of like Dallas when Bobby died. And then a couple seasons later, he just cuts out the shower and it's like, oh, it was all a dream. But the dream makes her start to wonder, can I really be myself? Come on. So this is the doll. But the packaging is so annoying because in order for me to see the doll on the shelf, I have to fold this around the back. I had to tape it. It's very annoying. But it is cool because it looks like a book. But I wish that this were some other process of something. I don't know what I want it to be. I just know that I don't want it to be what it is. So here she is. This is her. Sorry, you're seeing the reflection of the camera. In the nightmare forest, in her nightmare fog, there she is. She is her true big bad wolf self, but she still got her cool grunge pants on. Love the grunge pants. But she's got this wolf skin. Her boots are really, really epic. I don't know if you can see the boots. Let's see if we can get the camera to angle in such a way. Look at those boots. Ever After High did the best shoes and stuff. I have to go find my old Toy Fair footage. So you can see just how insane we were when we first started seeing Ever After High. She is so cool. And so that was my first Ever After High Comic-Con exclusive. Then the next one, and there were only 3. And one of them I don't even think was really, I don't even know if it was sold at Comic-Con. So the next one, the packaging was a little bit better. So the outer box looks like this, okay? So the outer box is separate, which was a good idea. And there's nothing in this outer box. So it kind of looks like a curtain, or we're on a show, something, we're on a stage, right? And inside this, and notice I've kept that box. Inside that is one of the coolest in-package situations ever. It is Cedar Wood. Woo! As a marionette. Now wait, are you ready? So up on top. Okay. So up on top of the box, woo, there's a handle. But the handle is actually the strings. And if you pull on the strings inside the box, her hands move. That's some pretty epic packaging right there. That is really cool. And it's for that, really, that I love this. My problems with this packaging are, and I only bought one of these, and I've never taken it out of the box because I think the packaging is everything. My problems with it are, do you see how far back in the box the doll is set? So no matter where you put this, you have to have absolutely perfect lighting. Otherwise, she's always in shadow. Like I'm always like adjusting her on shelves so that I can actually see her. Like this is a good angle right here, the way the light is hitting her, you can see the doll. But very often I have to adjust her because she's so deep in the box and there's all these layers of cardboard to make it look like the curtains that, you know, she's just set so far back in the box that you never really get to see like the detail on her. I mean, this is like so painful. I can't even. There we go. This kind of works. So she's got like a wood grain face. Oh, that's a horrible angle. Woo. So she's got like a wood grain face. Her nose has grown. And then the back, the artwork's really cool. I wish she looked more like the artwork, honestly, because she looks really freaky. And just unattractive in the box, but the artwork is really cool. But I mean, this again, nightmare. Total nightmare feel. This is Cerise. This is Cedar Wood having a nightmare right here. This is her. She's like, oh my God, I'm a marionette. I'm not a real girl. And it says, help, you see the marionette puppet on stage? The one that looks like me? Well, it actually is me, the real Cedar. The coachman from my future Pinocchio story put a magical curse on me and my friends that turned us all into puppets. I think he plans on handing us over to the evil queen. Lucky for us, I am already a puppet, which means I'm the only one who has the power to help my friends escape. I've already tried a few times, but thanks to the coachman's curse, all I've got to show for it is a growing nose and a pair of donkey ears. I'm not giving up though. You see the chest on the side of the stage? There's a potion in there that will change us all back to students. If you can distract the coachman, I can get free, find the potion, and get my friends back to Ever After High where we belong. I don't see it. I don't see what she's talking about. I don't see it. I don't see a chest on the side of the stage. But again, really, really cool that with this little pull of the thing up here, you can make her arms move. But see, like, look at how in shadow her face is. I find that so disappointing. It's very disappointing. But she's still very cool. Very, very cool. Now, this was the last, and I don't know where the exterior box is. I will insert a picture. This was the last Ever After High San Diego Comic-Con exclusive, and we are going to open this up because, as you can see, as it came, it's stupid, okay? Keeping this in box does you absolutely no good, yet I have done it now for how many years? So, there you go. So this is Raven Queen, all right? And it says, once upon a time, Raven Queen's mother, the evil queen from Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, dared to go beyond her story. Now remember, she's the one who starts, like, just all the stuff, right? Raven Queen is like, I don't have to follow my story, right? She's like, I'm not signing this stupid book. I'm not doing this. And that's how it all, and there's the royals and there's the rebels. The royals are like, no, you have to follow your storyline. And Apple's all like, but no, I have to be with my charming, and no. And Raven is like you can be with whatever you want. And then I think later on in life, Apple's like, I'm really kind of like a darling charming, huh? And it just so, but some people decide they're going to be rebels and they're not good. They're going to be like, you know what? I can be whatever I want to be. And then there's the royals who are like, no, you have to follow the life that your parents have laid out for you. They followed the lives their parents laid out for them. This is what we do, right? And being rebellious and brave is going, no, I'm undo me. So anyway, so she dared to go beyond her story. She invaded fairy tale after fairy tale, intending to rule them all under her wicked boot heel. So this is Raven's mom. Eventually, she was defeated and imprisoned inside of the very magic mirror she once treasured so much. However, there are two sides to every story. Even though the kind-hearted Raven didn't want to follow in her villainous mother's footsteps, she always wondered if she was told the whole truth. If Raven ever did accept her destiny, perhaps she might find the answers she's been looking for on the other side of the looking glass. And we did get some of that story. And we got the Mira Shards doll, which I have somewhere in the house. But again, you really, if you have not watched Ever After High, you really, really should. And if you are LGBTQIA plus person, really, you really want to watch it. Because I think, you know, it was intended for children, but it tells a story that I think just resonates so much. Like for me, Monster High resonated with just being very different. You know, just being like, you know, I was definitely, people called me a freak, you know, in grammar school, middle school, high school, you know, life, people called me a freak. You know, people still think I'm strange. And now I'm like, yeah, that's right, I'm a freak. But, and I love it, and I let my freak flag fly, but it was really hard when I was younger, and you want to be accepted. So, like, Monster High for me had a lot of meaning. And I love Ever After High because I love, you know, the story. But I think, you know, it really resonates for people who are LGBT, etc., because it's so obvious what they're talking about, you know? And it's beautifully done. Beautifully done. So definitely check it out. And the characters are really cool. So we're going to open her. I'm attempting to open her. I don't know what's going on here. And I need to keep my fake nails until St. Patrick's Day. I don't know. There's like a pull tab here. There was an outer box to this. I'll see if I can find the picture. So I think, yeah, okay. So basically you can pull this down and then she's displayed like that. And I don't know. It's just kind of ugly. And it's really, it's so much plastic. It's supposed to look like the mirror, you know. So once you do that, you get the other side. My dearest Raven, if you are reading this, then you have finally embraced your powers. For years, the spell of this mirror prison prevented me from speaking the truth. However, now you will finally be able to truly understand my side. Back when I was at, oh, this is interesting. Back when I was at Ever After High, everyone followed the whole follow your destiny nonsense. What's the line they always say? There are no short stories or tall tales, but when you're a villain, people hate and fear you. So I stole the storybook of legends, the artifact that magically bound us to our destinies, and I replaced it with a magical replica that had none of its true power. I wasn't going to just accept that I must live out the rest of my days alone and reviled. But then something unexpected happened. I fell in love with a good king, and eventually you, my baby girl, came into my life. Oh God, it's like making me love her. When I looked into your eyes, it was like my heart was looking back at me. I didn't need a magic mirror to tell me you were the fairest. However, not everyone saw you like that. Having the mother of an autistic child moment. People ran in fear, scared of who you would become. I would not stand idly by while my beautiful daughter was destined to be subjected to their ignorance. So I vowed to do something about it. I was going to reshape the fairy world in my image, in our image. They would have no choice but to love me, crossed out, us. That's why I always pushed you to be evil. And we are only a few steps away. Continue down the path, trust your dark instincts, and let's rule this world together as mother and daughter. Know that I love you with all of the malice in my heart. Your mother, Evil Queen. You know, now you just made me feel for the Evil Queen. Because when your child is different, in any way, and people treat them differently, believe me, you want to hurt those people. I understand where she's coming from. I really do. I may not agree with her methods, and I think that I never believe that violence or evil is the answer, but I get where she's coming from. I totally get where she's coming from. Like I've been there. I've gotten the looks from the other moms. You know, I've gotten the talks with the teachers. I've, you know, just gone through something. You know, we left our church just recently because of the Equality Act, a church that told us that they were completely welcoming, accepting, and loving of our transgender gay child. Absolutely, totally welcome. No, join the youth group. Oh no, we love everybody. And then the last week there was a big sermon about how we as Christians need to oppose the Equality Act. And then there was an email that went out that said that, you know, as Christians, we need to oppose the Equality Act. And I just kind of looked at my husband and I was like, well, okay, so that's not our church anymore. And he was like, nope, no. You know, that's not the first time and it's not the last time that, you know, people that you think are good people, you know, are gonna hurt, you know, that I'm gonna feel pain for my child, or that, you know, my child is gonna feel pain. And so I really now I'm like all like, okay, evil queen, love her. And I understand why she's encouraging her daughter as we continue to open up this box. I think at the time that she was writing this, like, that was the only option she saw for her child. And she's trying to make her child strong. And I think we do that, probably, I'm just ripping this box apart, probably as parents of special kids, we try to make our kids strong and brave, and we put a lot on them at a young age that other kids don't have to deal with, and we end up screwing them up, you know, in ways that, you know, I tried, it's so funny, it's like, you know, you always try not to screw up your kid, right? Like, no parent wakes up in the morning and goes, how can I screw up my kid? Like, the whole, you know, your whole focus as a parent is like to try to do your best, and you love this person so much and you just want to do your best, and yet no matter what you do, you're gonna screw them up somehow. And so sometimes it's like a, like what the evil queen is doing here, it's like almost like an overcorrection. So her thing is like, I see the way they're looking at you and I see the way they're treating you, and I don't want you to hurt. So I'm going to tell you to harden up, become evil, embrace it, and like shove it in their face. And that, of course, ends up not being healthy for Raven. And she doesn't understand what the heck her mother was doing. So I like I said, I think that's just a very, I think I don't know anybody who hasn't been messed up in some way by how they were raised. Like, I don't know. If you had a great childhood and your parents didn't mess you up at all, God love you. Please introduce me to your parents, although it's too late for my child. Yeah, like, I totally get it. I get where she was going with this. And, you know, this is not one of my favorite looks, I have to say, because I look at her and I get Vegas showgirl, evil queen, is what I'm getting at this. So this is, though, what would it look like if Raven took her mom's advice and went to the dark side? You know, she Kylo Ren this puppy. So, there we go. And, yeah, so, yeah, this turned out being more emotional than I intended it to be. Sorry about that, people. Keeping it real here in my world. So this is what this doll looks like out of the box. Right, Vegas showgirl? Are you getting that? Now, does this, I think this is supposed to stay on. So there's this like plasticky vinyl like thing back here that's holding up the feathers. She does have rooted eyelashes. These dolls at Comic-Con were usually, what were they, like $50 to $100. I mean, her face up, it's like, wow. And I love the crown. I love the cowl. I just feel like the feathers are, I don't get the feathers at all. Like, I just really don't like the feathers. I mean, and I think the feathers are supposed to be like her hair. Because they're the exact same color as her hair. But, and oh, look at this though. Look at the breastplate. It's like so evil. It's so cool. And then she's got these little braids of hair here. And I'm not going to fuss with that. And then of course she's got her poison apple. And then Raven. There's her Raven. Like, I don't know. I get like the Raven theme. And so like I get like the feathers, but like ravens don't have purple feathers. Maybe if they had all been black, but maybe that would have been too much. Maybe black with some silver. I don't know. What do you think? And then we got like, so we got these, I get this out of the way. And then the bottom of the dress is just like, oh yeah. You know, and to be, when you're a bad girl, you got to have like a mermaid silhouette, right? You got to have that going for you. You got to, and then look, let's like the shoes, because you can't see them. Unfortunately, these are the shoes. And, this was, you know, this was right before everything ended. You know, this was right before Ever After High kind of, you know, Ever After High was already jumping the shark. We were already getting molded on pants and leggings and things like that. And, so that was really, really sad for me, but I love her eye makeup. I'm going to keep this, thing that has her mother's story, her mother's letter to her, because now I've got all the feels, about what the evil queen wanted for her child. And I understand it. I completely understand it. So those are the few that existed. Ever After High, San Diego Comic-Con exclusives. I don't know if that apple that we opened in another video was like a San Diego Comic-Con thing, or if it was just a collector's doll, or what it was. But it was like Apple, kind of as her mom. You remember that one. And but I will put them together on a shelf, because, you know, I think it'll look cool. Of course she comes with a stand because, you know, so, yeah, so those are my Ever After High Comic-Con exclusives. I wish that the packaging had been better. I think the Monster High packaging was done better, although it's huge. You can still see the dolls. And so, you know, I find that really cool and helpful. But, so anyway, so let me know in the comments down below. I just unloaded a whole bunch of crap on you there and got very emotional. So, you know, let's talk about it, okay? So I love you guys so much. Thank you so much for watching. And let's hope that, you know, like in 2023, we actually maybe get like an Ever After High return. Wouldn't that be just the coolest? And I would love to see what the story would be. I would love to see how far we want to push that envelope. Wouldn't you? So anyway, thank you guys so much for all of your love. I love you guys so much. And I will see you again real soon. Stay well. Bye.